All right, story time with Doug here on Momentum Monday, midday, around 1 p.m. or so. And today's story is about choices, isn't it? And the filters that we run. And by the way, if you're looking for some anxiety busting opportunities, go ahead and go to guidedhypnotic.com. That's guidedhypnotic.com for a free anxiety busting meditation, guided hypnotic meditation. So that being said, let's talk about the choices we have, the opportunities we have. So one day this person ends up dying, right? And he ends up going up to heaven, and who greets him? That's right, St. Peter. And as St. Peter is sitting there, he says, "John, welcome." The guy's name is John. Why? Because it's the most common name. So he says, "John, welcome to the gates." But it's not what you expected. See, we believe you have the freedom of choice, don't you? And we want to give you the opportunity to choose. You're going to get to spend a day in heaven and a day in hell, and then you're gonna figure it out, right? Then you can, after spending some time, kind of a test run, check it out, see where you want to spend the rest of eternity. So John's a little perplexed, but he said, "Oh, okay." So he said, "Right there is an elevator, and you're going to go in that elevator, and you're going to go down to hell, spend a day, come up. Then you're going to go up to heaven, spend a day. Then you're going to come back and decide." So off he goes into the elevator, and down into hell he goes. And the gates open, the elevator door opens, and wouldn't you know it, there's Lucifer. And he's like, "John, buddy, what's going on? Welcome to hell. Come on in, let's take you around." And it was amazing. They had golf, they had tennis, they had racquetball, they had all of the experiences that John loved to do when he was on Earth. So he got to do all the things he was familiar with, and he basically got whatever he wanted. It was hell, but it was heaven. It was interesting. It was incredible, but it was, he's like, "Man, like Lucifer's misunderstood. Like, I don't know what's going on here." So he spends a day playing some rounds of golf, hanging out with the demons, and just it was like home in so many ways. So then he gets into the elevator, comes back up, and St. Peter said, "So what'd you think?" And he said, "Well, I got to be honest with you, it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. The holes were tough. I give you that. There was a couple of weird things when I was playing some golf, but it was kind of like a combination of golf and miniature golf with some interesting challenges. So yeah, and the devil, Lucifer's misunderstood. He's not evil. He's a little quirky." So he said, "Okay, no problem. Let's go up and spend your day in heaven." So he goes into the elevator, goes up to heaven, and the elevator doors open, and there's these angels, and there's beautiful music and harps and floating around. And it was nice. It was new. It was interesting. And, it was new. And there was some interesting challenges as well. There was very, soul-centric, as it were, some cool meditations and prayers and, getting present and connecting on deep levels and, being really vulnerable and like it was kind of what he thought heaven would be like anyway. He could tell that there was some definite value to it. So he had his day in heaven. So then gets back into the elevator, comes down, and there's St. Peter. Said, "All right, John, what'd you think?" And he said, "Well, I got to be honest with you. It's kind of what I expected. Very lovey-dovey, and got to talk and share and be vulnerable and really be present with each other. And it's kind of what I expected." So then St. Peter says, "So you've made your decision then?" And he said, "Yeah, I guess I have." He goes, "I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds nuts, but I think I'm going to choose hell." I mean, it was kind of familiar. It was like home. I got to play golf. I got to, all those things that I just love doing on Earth, So I know it sounds crazy. I'm gonna pick hell. So St. Peter says, "Okay, you got it. No problem. Go ahead now. Once you go in there, once you arrive into hell, that's it. That's your eternity." And he says, yeah, an eternity playing golf and tennis and racquetball and hanging out with some, kind of queer or interesting dudes. No problem. Let's do it. It's just like, kind of like my life on Earth. I said, all right. So he goes into the elevator, goes down, and as soon as the elevator doors open, Lucifer's hand rips off John's head, literally pulls it off his body. He takes his head and he sticks it up his own ass. He just throws it right up there. And he's like, what the hell, right? And they peel him alive. He's in incredible pain. They stick his head back on and he can feel it all as he witnesses everything. He's getting burned. He gets drawn and quartered. He's getting ripped apart limb by limb, feeling every moment. And finally, there's a break in the action, a break in the torture. And John's like, what the hell? I don't get it. Yesterday, when I came here, we were playing golf. You were hanging out. I thought you were just misunderstood. And now here you are, ripping me to bits. What gives? Lucifer looks at him and says, oh, well, yesterday, we were recruiting you. Interesting. Where in our lives are we being recruited to either familiarity, to the ease, to the immediate gratifications, to a mindset that is familiar, maybe comfortable, or a kind of uncomfortable that is short-term gains? Are we getting addicted to certain behaviors, certain experiences that don't serve us, but they feel good for the moment? Where does this show up? And are you willing to get real? Are you willing to get vulnerable? Are you willing to take a chance on yourself, on others, to try something new, to be willing to put yourself in a situation, in a position that may be challenging, that may be new, that may be having to have a level of faith, a level of courage, a level of discipline, a level of commitment to something bigger than yourself? John made a decision in many respects out of selfishness. Oh, I just get to play, do my old thing. All of the things that made him feel good in the moment, as opposed to maybe doing some of the work to elevate, to take his soul to the next level. That's food for thought here on Storytime with Doug. If this was helpful, please go ahead and share it, comment on it. Go to YouTube, Revolutionary Growth TV, and subscribe to the channel. Continue to add these stories. If you have any challenges, any stories you'd love to share, please, if you'd like to be a guest on The Real Deal On, feel free to reach out. That is going to be going on a couple times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at the moment, where we're going to have guests, and then it uploads to wherever you find your podcast, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, it's on Podbean, all those other great opportunities to connect and listen. So I love you for who you are and who you aren't, and I will see you soon. All right, God bless.